Welcome to Games Overboard. I'm PJ.
I'm Dan.
I'm Angie.
Way to go, ruin our intro with your phone, PJ.
It's gonna be muted out anyway.
Oh my god. Well, not now, after I've said it.
It's not a teenage dirtbag, though.
I hope not. Teenage dirtbag with 3 kids and a job? Teaching other
I was talking about you. He called you a dirtbag.
Whoa, whoa.
Were you
Hello,
not paying
dirtbags.
attention?
No, actually, I really wasn't.
Clearly.
I love how the music just cuts out.
That's how the song ends. It's literally how the song
I
ends.
know it is, but...
And just joining us is Shanna.
So how did you guys do in Tapestry? Did you win, Angeli?
No.
Not this
Angeli.
time.
Angeli.
Oh, Angeli.
Daniel won. Actually.
Damn right I did.
Yeah, he didn't.
I
If
feel
you
like he
were playing,
cheated.
he wouldn't have beaten you, though.
How
Probably
many
not.
points did he get?
201.
Trash. You gotta bump those numbers up.
Yeah, it was my first time playing. I think
It was
that's
my
pretty
first
damn
time
good.
playing too.
I feel like he cheated, though.
Hey, I went to outer space.
So
I did
PJ.
too.
I
You
just
copied my idea.
conquered everybody.
I didn't mean to, actually. It just kind of happened because the science diet started sending me up that track.
Yeah, sure. You're like, this is how Shanna won. I'm gonna just follow in her footsteps. I understand.
So, everyone, we played Tapestry
That's right.
this week.
It's a civilization game.
You didn't.
Why are you so quiet?
I don't know. Yeah, that's better.
You sound better. There he is. There's
Better,
Dan.
but whatever.
What?
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 Did you tell your listeners your story?
No.
No, they were fighting over who was going to tell... Oh, no, that's not that story. They're fighting over who's going to tell the dark story today.
Oh, too late. I already have it.
That's funny. Dan's in charge of that. I thought he didn't like it.
I don't, but it's hilarious to see PJ
He
fry
did
his
it last
brain.
week, too.
Wahahaha. Payback. Tis a female dog.
Are you going to read it, or are you
Oh,
just
yeah,
going
I
to
guess.
hold it in your
no,
hand?
I was going to wait for it for like a little bit, but fine. Fuck you if we're going to do it. This is called A Lethal Dinner. A woman is planning to kill her husband during dinner. However, she commits suicide while preparing it. Go.
She accidentally poisoned the wrong drink.
Close, but no.
She poisoned the food and then accidentally ate the wrong bit of food.
Nope.
She was allergic to whatever she made.
Oh.
That's a good one,
Anaphylactic
but no.
shock.
That's actually a very good one, but no.
Is
Thank you.
poison involved?
Yes.
Okay.
That was...
You never know with
no,
dark
that's right.
stories.
It didn't say it. No, that's right. Poison was involved. Oh, I'm itchy.
Don't
Don't look at me like that.
So poison was involved.
Poison was involved, yes.
And you said she's the one that dies?
Yes.
Okay.
She ends up committing suicide.
Ends up committing suicide.
Who does she want to poison again?
Her husband.
Like deliberately?
All right.
Yes.
It's deliberate.
It's deliberate.
All right, check it out. This is a dark story. So I think what happened is that, like, she was going to poison him, but then she realized that he was in love with her,
Yeah,
like,
she learned
sister.
something new.
And
yeah.
so, because there was a phone call,
Yeah.
and he realized that she's in love with her sister, and she just can't off her husband because she wants her sister to be happy. So she
Yeah.
kills herself.
It's got to be something like that.
Something ridiculous like that.
You're looking way too deep into it.
It's too true.
That's how dark stories are, though.
That's true, but not this time, surprisingly. I mean, it is a little, I won't say convoluted, but it's like, well, okay.
So it's actually better than some of the dark stories we've had?
Yes, actually.
Wow.
I like
okay.
my ending
Not as
more.
good as last week's, though. That was hilarious, considering all the hints I gave you.
Last week. Freaking last week.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about the game.
My head hurts.
You know how I feel now.
I want to tell a story.
Oh boy. What are you doing?
This is a real story.
Oh, no.
I want to get a little snippet here. Snippet, not snippet. Because
snippet.
I'm so tired from pulling many hats in this house.
What's your snippet?
Murder Swamp in Newcastle, PA.
This is fantastic already.
Yes. You ready? I would like your listeners to realize that the Baja's exorcism is better than this
Could you
one.
get out of here?
Cut her mic, cut her mic, cut her mic.
Joke's on you. I know how to use this now.
Crap.
All right. So Murder Swamp is known for headless victims. The first young victim was a man discovered on October 6, 1925. He was nude, headless, and had been there for at least 3 weeks. His head was found 2 days later, but proved no help with identification. About 10 days later, another headless male skeleton was found. Again, 2 days later, the missing skull was discovered with a female skull. The body of the female victim was never located. And on it goes.
Wow.
Hey, we found this guy's head. Who is it? I have no fucking clue.
But not this guy's over here, because this goes to that. Oh, wait, this is a female. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of dead bodies here. And then in 1933, more dead headless bodies. And then in 1939, more dead headless bodies.
I swear to God, if you say "and then" one more time, I'm going to kill you.
And then. So I just wanted to give my own dark story. That's a real story.
That's dark.
That's all I got.
Cool.
That came from Supernatural Pennsylvania by Lori Hull. Murder Swamp. And none of those bodies have ever been identified. And the murderer still is at large. Well, he's probably dead by now. It's been 100 years, but...
And then...
No, and then...
I just pictured like some 120-year-old like trying to kill someone. It was so much easier back
This is
then.
Walker. I'm coming to get you.
Not sure we can do that anymore. It's kind of like get one of the electronic ones. Speak and spell.
So Tapestry is a Stegmaier game.
1 to 5.
He types
players.
in wrong, I'll kill you, but it says I'll till you, and it's confusing. Because,
Yeah.
darn it, delete, kill. There we go.
Till. I don't know.
I want the
Some
till.
of those bodies could be tilled up. Makes you pretty good
Oh, you're a
fertilizer.
farmer.
We talked about
I was
that
thinking
in
about
Wild
till like
House.
as in money from a cash register. I was like, I'll take your change.
I'll take your giblets, thanks.
So this was designed by Jamey Stegmaier.
Yes, it was.
From what I heard, a lot of it stemmed off of him seeing the buildings, the building miniatures, and he's like, "I need these in a game."
They're pretty cool.
They
I don't know if that's true, but I'm pretty sure I heard or I read that in like a blog
We should have
somewhere.
asked him.
I know, right?
I mean, you talk to him so often. You're best buds.
He
Talked
gave
to him 3
He
times now.
gave us
I know.
a shout out.
Yeah, Wednesday during his live stream, I hopped
that's
on
awesome.
since I'm off work right now, and
Yeah,
PJ,
why are you
off work?
Well-
What happened?
grass, man, he'll get you.
Actual grass.
Grass tastes bad. Right?
I none of it went in my mouth.
That's what she said.
So, listeners, this is what happened. We're at Ollie's for Ollie's night. Ollie's night.
Yes.
Ollie's night. It's a great night.
So it's not ladies' night. It's Ollie's
It's
night.
Ollie's night. We got some great stuff. I got $3 D&D terrain maps. I got
That's
some
the reason we went.
I got
I
cheap
told
board
you.
games.
Yeah.
I got Broken Foot.
That was the best part.
Because we parked around the side of the building.
Well, that was your
Well,
mistake.
right when
there.
you go in, like at the Lycoming Mall.
Literally,
so
yeah. Like
It's
if you're
it's alongside the building.
if you're looking straight at the building, there's a sidewalk across the front of it, the front facade there. And then it goes back a couple squares, right? I think it does. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, we were parked around
I think you're wrong from the look she's giving you.
I'm just trying to understand his like explanation.
squares of the sidewalk. Like it. I
Tiles?
don't know if I don't know if it wraps around the building or not, the sidewalk. But anyways,
About 3 tiles.
yeah, it
out.
does. Okay, it does go down some.
I see what you're saying now. Like I was giving directions going in. So when you drive into Lycoming Mall parking lot, you turn right and park on that side parking lot alongside.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I got confused.
So, PJ, I guess you could say you found out where the sidewalk ends.
That's the joke I made.
Yeah, she said that on the Well House Exorcism.
Shel Silverstein needs to be reread.
So, anyways, it's not lit on that side of the building.
In
At all.
2 ways. It's not good and it's not lit.
So 3 ways, because it's also not the band.
That's true.
4 ways, it's not literature either.
Of course, a teacher would make that joke.
I'm sad that I did not. The English teacher. I'm tired.
So it's unlit there. I am walking down the sidewalk until the sidewalk abruptly ends, and I did not realize this.
Because you can't see. It really
Yeah,
was dark
it
and it
was-
was raining.
Yeah, it was raining,
It was
so
Sunday night.
there was no moonlight, no natural lighting of any kind. So I hit the grass at my typical walking pace and everything that I thought would be for a concrete sidewalk.
Whee!
My foot twisted under me,
Ow.
and then I fell on top of the foot.
Yeah, achy.
Yeah.
And as he said to Jackie, Nurse Jackie, I heard a pop.
I felt a pop, and I really thought that I did something to my ankle, but no, it was... Oh, my ankle! Is that what you're thinking?
On
My other ankle.
Now that he's had his other doctor's appointment and we know that he's healing very well, I can now be honest. So I'm sitting in the car and I'm like looking at my phone and I'm like asking Mom, where is she? And I'm like, where the heck is PJ? I'm so annoyed.
And I'm like waving.
No,
like,
he is not waving. He is holding on to his foot, but like all I hear is this weird like noise, almost like an animal is like crying. I'm like, what the
I was
heck
trying
is
not
that?
to scream, so I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
Sorry, I was gonna... Hold on, that's the cry of a PJ. How can you tell? Ah! Ah!
And so I look at the front,
What's a dying giraffe sound like?
I look out the windshield and I see something sitting like in the grass and holding his foot, and I realize it's PJ. I'm just like, what are you doing? Because he's making the weirdest noise ever. And then they click on, oh my God, are you okay? But that's why I was like, we're going to go to the ER because you've never made that noise before.
See,
That's just the demons.
as similar as we are, PJ, this is a big difference where you would make that noise. You would know I hurt myself because you would hear something to the effect of, God fucking damn it!
Over and over again.
Son of a bitch, cocksucker, and just anything I could think of.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Krabs in that swearing episode of SpongeBob.
Except for me, you won't hear dolphin noises.
That's all 13.
13. Wait, there are 13 swords? If you're doing it right.
If you're a sailor.
That's right, if you're a sailor, that's right.
So
So yeah,
anyways.
he broke his foot. We go to the ER. We're there for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor there was kind of scary. She got on both sides of PJ's head.
Yeah, she looks me straight in the eyes. She goes, do not put weight on it. And like, jeez, fine, lady. God.
And by the way, she looked, she was so tiny and she was like everyone's grandma, but she was scary.
Wait, this was at Bloom?
Yeah, it was at Bloom.
Yeah.
What did she, describe her more?
She had almost like a bowl cut, right? Her,
Yeah,
like,
and
blonde
her hair was like very light blonde, like she's graying. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
she has a tint to it, if her hair is just blonding and like, graying out.
Yeah, bleaching out. But
But she was very lovely.
Yeah.
And she wrapped it up good. But I took that seriously. So since Sunday, he has not been allowed to put any pressure on the foot. And he may say he's okay, but I still give him ice and ibuprofen. And I go, put this in your mouth. Before I leave for work, I make sure his ice bag is all filled and all the ice cube trays are filled.
you can't anymore, though, because I work tomorrow.
I'll call Alicia. I'll send your bag in with you. I'll send your ibuprofen in with you. It'll be fine.
Does he need a note for the nurse?
I did, actually. I have to bring in a doctor's note because I missed more than 3 days in a row.
I mean, for your meds.
Oh, no.
I think they trust us. All teachers are medicated at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly on anti-anxiety medication.
Well, I mean, some of the teachers when we went to school were medicated too.
Well, Mrs. a certain computer teacher.
Marinated, not medicated.
I don't want to use any names because this is like, a worldwide podcast. But are you talking about a certain computer
Yes.
teacher? Okay.
Yes.
Who had that big Java thing?
Yes,
Not
and
full
one
of
of our
coffee.
classmates walked over and went, "Holy shit!"
I always got
that
good grades
was
in that
funny.
class. She liked me.
Oh, I did, too, because we used Timbuktu to get...
Yes.
So, listeners, in our keyboarding class, we are not talking about the game at all right now. I apologize.
No, we're
But in
not.
our keyboarding class, there was an app called Timbuktu, where the teacher could view all of the other computers and access them, shut them down if they're
Those
if you're
programs still
misbehaving.
exist. There's Go Guardian.
Go Guardian,
now. Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. But what they didn't realize is that everyone had access to that.
And they had only one password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the easiest password.
Was
Yeah.
it password?
It was password.
Yeah.
And so most of us, like, it's a keyboarding class, and this is the early 2000s where everyone's on AIM.
Yeah.
So we are
For
all...
those of you who are too young to know,
It was
AIM
cool.
is AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, it's texting.
You could
It was
IM
texting, but you
people.
had to be on the computer
It was
to do
texting, yeah.
And you
texting
had
before
really
phones.
cool, like, BRB, like, slogans.
Away
and-
messages.
Away messages.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could put flowers after your name. Oh, yeah, you can
You
make
change
it
the
hit.
colors of your
Heck
text.
yeah.
But anyways, so we were all amazing keyboardists. We could play those tunes. We were great. So we didn't need a typing class.
No.
So we used Timbuktu to access people who already completed the work. Changed the name, print, turned it in.
Yeah.
And then we played Age of the Empires
Age of the
2.
Empires 2.
I just want to say that I never once cheated in that class because I was a good girl. That way, if they decide to rescind your
I
diplomas.
I cheated in that class because I had no respect for that teacher.
Okay, well, yeah, I understand
Okay.
that.
Who did?
I don't know, other alcoholics maybe.
Especially after 9/11, I would not take her class seriously.
Yeah, 9/11 happens, and
Dan, were you in that class with him for that?
he wasn't.
No.
Or were you in Mr. Marshman's?
Yes, I was.
That's
in,
you with me.
I was in Mr.
Yeah.
Marshman's class.
So
on that.
9/11,
Silver Fox, too.
we get an intercom message from the principal saying that a plane had struck one of the towers, and we are to stop instruction to,
Turn the
just
TV
watch
on.
the news. And from the office, they turned on all of the televisions in the school.
Because they
So-
could do that back in the day.
Yeah. So the TV comes on, and now, listeners, this teacher, every other day, she would have a hangover, and all the lights would be out.
Every other.
One
No,
day
no,
would
no.
be
For
one
me-
day would be a good day, and then one
See,
day
I
lights
had
would be
the
out.
class later in the afternoon, so for me,
I think it's when it hit, yeah.
it was every
Ah.
day. We would come in, lights were
So
out.
she got the afternoon hangover.
yes,
so-
lights were out. Head on the desk.
Uh-huh.
You guys know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what- and it was like, yeah,
Okay.
we know what to do.
Yep.
Someone swipe her cup.
Yeah, for us it was every other day. She had a good day, and then she had a lights out day. Today was a lights out day, and TV comes on. We see it for about 30 seconds before she turns it off and says it's too loud.
Yeah, so PJ never watched
So
any of that
we're
happen.
we're all looking at each other like, what is happening in the world right now? What are we missing?
Holy shit!
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had to wait until fourth period when we got down to Marshman's room for history class
God.
to figure out what happened.
So
and
did
then
you-
they dismissed us from school.
I say
after
because
that.
you ended up going to the auditorium and then being dismissed from their home. But at Marshman, like, because once the planes really started and people started jumping out of the buildings,
Yep.
the office turned the TVs off because they knew we were
Yeah.
watching suicides. And Marshman goes, nope. And he walked over
Yep.
and turned
Yeah,
right back
turned it
on.
right back
And
on.
once the second building got hit too, that's when everyone realized it was an attack.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, go. Like, just go home. We're under attack. Like, not a day for school.
Pretty much.
So,
And then right back there the next day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday. We're back, everyone.
And then Black Hawk
Pennsylvania's not under attack, so
anymore.
anymore.
But then there's Black Hawk helicopters flying past us because
Yeah, that was the weekend after. They were
Yeah.
flying so low that the windows were shaking.
Yeah.
well,
the
because they
whole
had heard that
fleet
they
of
were going to hit the
helicopters.
the pipeline that was there.
Yeah.
There was intel about that. Yeah. So, but Marshman was great. He's just like, no, you guys are going to watch this because this is history.
Yeah.
And he gave that very eloquent speech where, like, tears were coming down his eyes, but he wasn't
Yeah.
making
Former
that sound.
Marine.
Right.
Yeah.
Serious.
Honestly, I was terrified of him when that was happening because he had the yardstick in his hand and you could hear it cracking.
Yeah.
Like with every second, you just heard the strain, and it was like he's gonna fucking. He's gonna
This
fucking
is the
break that
moment.
thing, and then he's gonna break somebody.
I was
gonna
stuck
be
in
a
study
splinter.
hall
Oh,
because it was my split chem day. Like he had
Okay.
lab and yeah, it was Mr. Kent.
Oh.
Oh,
He
how
was
did that
literally
go?
like he just stared at the TV like, what the hell? Like, what's so?
Oh.
so real quick before we get back to the game, I do have this story about Mr. Kint.
Is this the horse story?
Is it the hair dye story?
No.
All those are good.
This
stories.
was so my dad had him one of his first years teaching, and at that time it was a split class. They would do part of the class, have lunch, and then finish the class.
Okay, yeah.
And when they came back for the second portion of class, he always told everybody, okay, kids, get out your milk and cookies. So my dad, being a wise ass, and I do get it,
Brought
honestly,
milk and cookies.
he and his friends brought milk and cookies from the cafeteria.
That's fantastic.
And he says, okay, kids, get out your milk and cookies. And my dad and his friends pulled out milk and cookies, and he went, oh God, no, no. You got, went over, closed the door. Okay, you can only do this one time, okay? Don't do this anymore. I'm going to get in trouble. So my dad tells me this story. Junior year, I have him for history. And I look at him and say, Mr. Kent, do you remember at the beginning of your time here, you used to say, okay, kiddies, get out your milk and cookies? He goes, oh, yeah. Oh, my God, you didn't bring some, did you?
So Tapestry is a civilization game.
Wait a minute. It's a civilization
It's
game?
a civilization game.
Civilization game.
It says so on the box right there.
It does.
And you all play different civilizations, obviously, and you're advancing up different tracks,
What if I want to
advancing
be a
your
part of your civilization?
Part of your world.
and you're advancing your civilization in different ways, trying to get more points and be more civilized than everyone else.
Not me.
How did Dan win? That's the question.
Nobody knows.
No.
I'm pretty sure he cheated.
Through military advancement.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah. It's
Military power. So let's just go with game overview. You have 4 types of resources, and so 90% of the game, you're just spending resources to move a cube up a track. Right? Like,
Yeah,
there are 4 different
that's
tracks.
basically it.
Science, technology, military, and exploration.
Military.
And
Science.
as you go up those tracks, you get bonuses for moving up to the next spot.
Did she blind you with science?
I won.
No by the light. Along with that, if you get the exploration tiles, you can find new lands in like this like map of the planet that you're doing, that you're like exploring.
Oh my God, we lived on a flat Earth.
Oh my god!
Holy shit.
Right, like I assume it's a planet. Like that's what you're exploring right there, or like
I don't
just
know.
the
I think it's
known
just
world?
that
Yeah.
section.
And then you can conquer those places too, which is the military track.
Yes.
You can get new inventions and draw cards with the technology track, and science track just kind of lets you advance anything, which is cool.
Oh, you can also do things like make alliances with another player, even against their will.
Yep. I had a tapestry card.
dick.
So every time you advanced an era, you would put a tapestry card down, and it would give you a bonus for that round. And I had one that was like, because I knew Dan had.
Is it copy the other person?
No.
Oh.
I knew Dan was going for military power, and he would just start. He was getting close to conquering people, so I put an alliance card down, and I said, "You pick another player. They cannot attack you, and you cannot attack them."
For
And for
That's
the
good.
yeah, for this era. And I'm like, Dan, you cannot attack me, and we are allied now. And he's like, what?
This is my
I was
treaty.
going for you.
This is my Treaty of Geneva. Now attack your girlfriend. Oh, there goes your evening.
No, what's funny is they didn't. I attacked him more.
Yeah,
She did.
Good.
yeah.
She took PJ
Angie
down. By the
wiped
end,
me out.
By the end of the game, PJ only had 1 territory.
Yeah, she took all mine.
I didn't take like any of yours when we played.
Yeah.
I was going to, but then he actually put like a 1 tower, and I was like, oh, never mind. I'll just keep exploring. And then I went to outer space. I was like, bye, everybody. Peace out. I don't need your people anymore.
No, fuck this planet. I'm going somewhere else.
Because I built my own civilization elsewhere.
Screw you guys. I'm good.
But then there's my favorite part of the game where you get these buildings and landmark buildings, which are large ones, and you fill in a grid like Woodoku, your
Yeah.
phone app.
If
Very similar to
moving
that,
toggles
right?
on a board is not enough, you have a secondary board you gotta fill up. It's very confusing.
It's actually a tertiary board, but
That's true.
You're
it
a
is.
tertiary
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
You're a turd. Oh, I'm sorry.
A tertiary board. Bird.
tertiary bird.
Tertiary bird. Because it's the word.
Those minis you didn't paint, right?
No,
No.
they come
Yeah.
pre-painted.
They're gorgeous.
They're
Yeah.
nice. I really like those.
They're fun to put away in their little holes. Except you gotta put them in the right holes.
That's what she said.
Jamey Stegmaier, if you're listening.
We're so sorry.
Speaking of, do you want to know a super cool fact about Jamey Stegmaier?
No, but you're going to tell me.
I'm ready.
He has a fear about staples. You know how like when you buy food like from restaurants and it comes like in the brown paper bag and they fold it down, they staple it? He has a fear that when you open it and you just pop it, the staple will go flying somewhere and it could go into his food. So he has a fear that he will eat a staple.
We have a lady who was a customer of ours who would get really pissed off at us if we stapled her bag shut.
Well, she gets choke on the staple. Jamey Stegmaier.
See, my stapler is overzealous and will
Have you seen my stapler?
when you
We have
staple
a red
something and the staples like bend in, they bend too far in and poke back out the other side. Then it hurts my thumb because I grab
Scratch
it
yourself, yeah.
and I poke myself, and it's not fun.
I believe you have my stapler.
I watched that movie the other day.
Love that movie.
I love that movie.
I'm going to burn down the building.
That's less strong. You set the building on fire.
For those of you who have not heard or watched, please do yourself a favor and watch Office Space.
I was told there was going to be some cake.
I told you about throwing my paper scanner in the dumpster the other day?
Yes.
I really wanted to go full Office Space on it.
Should
But
have.
I didn't have a bat.
By the way, and I know some people say it around us, but I want this thing to be like more widespread. If anybody says they're going full Office Space on something, it means they're beating the shit out of it with a baseball bat and stomping on it.
Yep. Curb stomping it pretty much.
Just do it. Why are you looking at me like that?
Apparently, the cinematographer, the director, someone got a note from someone in the mafia saying that like they did a good job portraying a hit.
I just gotta tell you, the way you hit that fucking print, looked beautiful.
You know, back
Like
to my dark story.
how like one guy's just overseeing and like handing the
Yep.
bat to other people, and
Everybody's-
and he's just watching,
Back to my dark story. The belief is that it was a mafia hit. Initially, it was a place they were dumping bodies, but then later it was a serial killer. Listen to Wellhouse Exorcism for more.
But we don't do serial killers in Wellhouse.
Yet. Actually, I would hold that we do because of the Stenbacher's Inn over by.
Yeah, the inn.
Joke's on you.
So it was a serial killer?
That they never found. He actually would leave his newspapers with the bodies.
I'm so sorry for
Cheerios.
well, I was going to say Captain Crunch.
He had it coming. When you eat that stuff, it tastes good, but it rips apart your mouth. So, like.
Well, you're doing it wrong. Doing it wrong.
Tapestry.
So before we
Yes.
get more into Tapestry, listeners, after this review, we will have Jamey Stegmaier on. So stick around for the whole episode because we have a fun conversation with him afterwards about what makes games fun.
Real quick, a woman is planning to kill her husband during dinner. However, she commits suicide while preparing it.
Does she poison herself? Did we establish this already?
She has poison.
She kills herself. That poison is involved, but does she poison herself?
It's unclear.
She kills herself. We don't know what from, but okay.
Okay.
So back to Tapestry.
So her husband has like no time left to live. She has to pull the plug. And so she's having one last dinner before she has to kill him. But then she hears that he has died naturally, so she kills herself.
No.
Dang it.
No.
What works in this game?
Okay.
I have no idea. I just played it. If I'm being honest, I didn't know what I was doing the whole time.
Well, what I mean is like, what do you like about the game?
Dan goes first then.
So for this, what works for me is just the tracks. How everything is, you keep track of everything. The ages that you're in, how far you are when it comes to your progression in anything. Like just sliding that little block. You're right. It's so satisfying.
It shouldn't work,
It
right?
shouldn't. You're like, yeah, just put that there, but you're like, oh god, I gotta do that again. Oh yeah.
Well, I think it's because it's the positive reinforcement. Like when you move up that tracker, you get like new things.
That's right.
So I think
Yeah.
it's that little
Yeah.
bit of positive reinforcement.
yeah.
Also, it takes so long to get those initial victory points. At the beginning of the game, it's like, did I get a victory point? Did I get a victory point? I got a victory point.
I got one. I got one point.
but as you progress, it's like, all right, now we're tallying up all the stuff. We're like, oh yeah, oh I got all those victory points. Fuck you guys. At least that's what I was thinking. I was like, hey, look at all this shit I got.
Yeah, by the end, you're pulling in like 30 points every time you get an income turn and things like that.
Right.
It's,
When you go into a new age. It's great.
yeah.
That's what worked for me, as well as the different branches that you can research. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I skipped components. How do we feel about the components for this?
We talked about the cool houses.
We did talk about the cool houses.
It makes me think of Three Little Pigs. I don't know why. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
Right?
Grim Stories, that game.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Grim Stories.
So the pieces on this are just, they're plastic. They're all plastic.
Yep.
They don't feel...
Sorry.
What was that?
I'm sorry, I like that. They don't feel...
I just yawned and it went.
Where's the dying giraffe?
So they don't feel flimsy. They don't feel cheap.
Mm-hmm.
This also could have been done with just normal tokens, just cardboard tokens.
Mm-hmm.
But it really... Stegmaier games, as we have said many, many, many times, you're getting a really good quality.
Yeah.
Always a good quality.
Mm-hmm.
The paper that you... Or not the paper, but like your player boards and everything.
Yeah.
They have that great texture. Everything feels awesome.
Yeah, it's like a high grit sandpaper
Yeah.
It is.
feel.
I wonder if it's so your resources don't slide around.
Yeah, I think it's to reduce sliding, like increase
Probably.
that friction there.
The other thing that I like...
It doesn't help if your sleeve hits the mat and knocks everything away.
Yes, and I was upset.
It was. She was like, fuck this game!
Couldn't flip the table, so she flipped her mat.
But the other
You were
thing...
beating me!
The other thing I really like is it comes with more than one player guide. Quick reference guide.
Which are
That
still
was-
laying on the table, by the way.
Yes, they are. We
I
gotta put
know.
those in.
There are a couple of civilization
And that's another thing I really like is you have up to 5 players, but you have how many civilizations?
16.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of replayability. with
Yeah,
that.
I loved it.
I hear that a lot of them are OP and had to be reworked, and like there's a new like expansion pack with fixed civilizations,
Okay.
but
I hate it when I have to fix my civilization. These fuckers
right?
get unruly.
Got to go with just pull a Nero and burn the whole fucking thing down and redesign it.
So I do, for the first time ever, I have a complaint about
Oh my god,
about
a Stegmaier game? Oh no!
and about component quality of a Stegmaier game.
Dear god. Do tell.
But I want to preface it by saying I understand why it exists. The civilization things and mats, I guess you want to call it, and the your capital city mats and your player mat too, like all those mats that go in front of you. I wish they were cardboard instead of that card stock.
You know, that didn't bother
They were
me.
warped. You know, like they bend and they're flimsy.
You can get your sleeve caught on them.
You can get your sleeve caught on them. Like maybe it's because Scythe. You know, that was my first Stegmaier game, and it spoiled me, like with the dual layered board and everything. Like imagine if that was dual layered and all of your little huts and everything like sat
that would be
in
great.
there. It would be so cool.
But at the same time, this did not bother me that bad.
Yeah. The reason, and I'm pretty sure the reason why they didn't do it, I think there are 2 reasons. One, the box would have to be a lot bigger to accommodate 16 of those factions and 6 of the cities and 5 of the player mats. You know, like, it would have been a lot bigger box. 2, it would have been a lot more expensive, too. And this game's already, like, $85 or something like that. So I understand why they did it, and I appreciate it. But I also kind of wish there's, like, an upgrade box to buy, you know, with, like, some nicer things.
Like, I understand that, but again, I wasn't even... It wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
Me. Like, it was like, oh, this is our stuff. Cool, let's go.
Is that
Yeah.
because you rarely have thoughts?
Oh.
I have a lot of thoughts, and they are not fun.
Are they about me?
Sometimes, but those are the naughty ones. The other ones are just something that no one should
Well, I
ever
like
think
how
about.
he says he has thoughts and they're not fun. You're like, about me? Are the not fun ones about me?
Oh no, those are naughty. Those are naughty. The other thoughts are thoughts that no one should have.
To be fair, I knew the answer to the question.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
To be fair.
To be fair, oh!
Oh my.
All right. What else works about this game? Anything? I really like, as I said earlier, the puzzle of putting the buildings on the grid
that's great.
and filling all the spaces in the rows and columns.
So what makes those challenging is there are areas where you cannot build unless
Unless you have the card that I
you
have.
have that card that Angie had, which would have allowed you to put it there.
Oh, and
That was a tech card.
not only does it allow you to cheat, which is already a huge bonus, but it's like if you do, you get 5 bonus points.
Yeah.
What? Dang.
Wish I would have been able to play that later.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
When you had access to more buildings and
I
stuff.
also feel like we need to play this again because Daniel has been snoring very badly and I have not slept well. That's probably why he beat me.
PJ too, because he's sleeping on his back, hence because of his broken leg.
Yeah,
It's awful.
yeah. And it hurts my back too, so I take ibuprofen more for my back than for my foot.
You notice he's not apologizing. He's just like, yeah, I snore.
I mean, I do.
I mean, I
know it's
apologize.
because I sleep on my back. You know, it's from sleeping on my
I
back.
apologize.
Because
I am
usually
sorry.
when he snores, I hit him really hard. I'm like, you're snoring. Whack. Roll
I
over.
can't sleep on my side. Hit me.
But no, because you have a broken leg. I can't hit you right now.
Well, that's more
Don't
reason
hit
to
him in the
hit.
leg.
Don't hit my leg. So, anything that doesn't work about the game?
I would say maybe, but I don't know how I played it, and I don't know how I won. I'm honest. Like, I don't know what happened. But I enjoyed it.
The whole time, like, Angie said the same thing. She's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And she's like 50 points ahead of us. And she's just like, I just don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my god! I don't know what I'm doing. I got points.
Do
This is-
something.
This is ridiculous.
Because, well, the two of you were like fucking everywhere and the damn things, and I'm just like, what the fuck can I do now? You just fucked everything over for me.
Do not blame us because we're promiscuous. Okay.
Dan,
to hear
you
this.
could have just looked up a whole new island and gone to a different island, but you had to do that right there in front of her. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean. Hold on, I gotta get on this. Wait. Oh.
that's not the sound that PJ is making on Sunday, though.
Okay. So you were more of a Hank Hill.
Bobby.
David, Bobby. Sorry, real quick.
I'm always going to see in my head that it's PJ, but not realizing it's my husband. Like, what is happening out in front of this windshield?
Propane.
What is happening to this person? I don't know.
The propane in my foot.
Some dude making weird noise on the lawn. Oh, it's mine.
So,
Oh, wait, that's mine.
Gotta go
Oh,
pick it up. What doesn't work for you, PJ?
I mean, nothing really. It was just nitpicks, you know. I'm still confounded on why this game works. Like, why it's... I'm just fascinated by this game. I really am.
why does this work? This shouldn't work.
It
Probably
should,
all the
like-
ibuprofen.
No, I've been saying this for months now.
We did this before he broke his foot.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I asked Jamey the same thing, and you'll hear that in the interview after this review.
Yes, you will.
I was just like, how did you know this game was going to be good? Like, you're just sliding cubes up tracks. Like, why is it so fun?
It's kind of like the bees.
Oh yeah.
You're just putting bees
And
somewhere.
I think
And we even said that in our discussion too. Like, worker placement games are also super boring on paper. Like, you put a thing down on a space and you get the stuff from that space. And then you put a thing down on another space and you get that stuff. And then you turn that stuff in to
so.
complete
I
something.
think
like,
part of it is.
You turn that stuff into other stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I think a lot of it has to do with feeling some sort of accomplishment while
Yeah.
you're playing. Like, and we've talked with Jamey about this before, and we have mentioned this on just about every game that we've played of his. You're never going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You're always moving forward. You're
Yeah.
always getting some kind of reward. You're always getting some kind of benefit, even if you don't make the right choice.
Yeah. Like, even if you try to conquer someone else's territory and they block it,
Bastard.
you still can roll the dice and get the benefit from the dice. Which
Exactly.
is, like, you're never denied something completely.
Right.
Conquered PJ.
Except Libertalia.
I got lots of mushrooms.
If you remember...
He didn't design that one.
I called them mushrooms. I'm like, I got mushrooms.
Oh, we got fat guys.
yeah.
Okay, so I kept laughing every time we did it because
I got shrooms.
We're bringing out everything, all of the pieces, and you have the mushrooms for food. You've got like a little money bag for money.
You got
You got
star for military power.
might, and then for your population, you've got this little guy.
And it looks like a
And
dude in a suit.
It looks like a guy in a suit.
What's
And-
the name of that? Oh God, what the heck was his name? The movie with the dude, the white dude that was like ginormous. It was a Disney movie.
Baymax.
Yes,
Oh,
that's what it
okay.
looks like.
Yeah, a gray
Hairy
Baymax.
baby.
But-
Hairy baby.
So I see this, I'm like, hey, it's a fat guy. And PJ goes, no, that's your people. I'm like, it looks like a fat guy to me. So every time we'd reset or we'd get like more population, I'm like, and I'm gonna use a fat guy.
And we all just
And we
started
all just
saying
did
fat
it.
guy.
And it just made me laugh every time we said, I'm gonna use a fat guy for this.
You just offended like half of our audience. But it's fine.
I'm a fat guy. Come on.
No, you're not.
I feel like a fat guy.
Your butt's not fat.
I don't have a butt.
Exactly.
He's a question mark. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. You guys said that. Look, the only curvature on my backside is when I put my wallet in my pants pocket.
Did we tell PJ that story?
I don't think we did. No.
No.
You can tell it.
When we were at the school, like he's like
Yeah. He was trying to talk to the students.
He's talking to the students, and like Shannon and I are sitting over there, and I looked at him like, good God, my boyfriend's a fucking question mark. Like he's really wide at the top, and then he just goes down into nothing.
Yeah. Gets his shoulders.
It's great.
I've got broad shoulders.
She's like, oh my God, you're right. And then we laughed.
So much. And I thought, was Dan is a question mark. What is a Dan?
What
no
is
one
Dan?
knows.
Right.
I'm a conundrum.
What are you
But-
doing?
Nothing in this game doesn't work for me.
He's fiddling with his phone.
And I
I'm
won,
fiddling.
so it works for me.
Yeah.
And I
That's
went to
usually
outer
what I
space.
say.
Would you like to talk about your score?
I forget what it was. You took a picture.
291.
That's right.
Dan, what was yours?
201.
Yeah. He's got children's numbers over there. He's got to pump them numbers up.
It's because he cheated.
But
Is
I
it
want
like
to.
pumped up kicks?
Yes, I want to like go further. Like now that I was in outer space, I want to continue the outer space thing. Where does one go once they get to space? I have questions.
I don't know. I don't want to be in
More
outer space too
space.
long. You lose bone density.
All the space.
Your body gets screwed up.
But you get younger.
Yeah, but that's
There's that.
I mean, that's part of like
My
the
wrinkles
solar
will go
radiation.
away.
It's
about
not
a
a miracle.
A natural facelift.
That shit'll fuck you up. You get back to Earth, you'll be like, "Yeah, I'm taking my first steps on," blah, and you just fall because you have no muscle, tone, and you're just like
I
a newborn.
get to crawl, but PG's good at that. I had to.
It's because I can't navigate stairs at the moment.
Well, she was telling us about your, you had to do the butt.
I
wiggle.
suggested
I have
the butt.
I have to
scooch.
butt scooch my way down
That's
the stairs.
fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to butt scooch my way downstairs, and I
do it.
realize I don't have any fucking stairs.
You have to butt scooch your way upstairs. too?
No.
No, I crawl. I crawl upstairs.
Are you gonna wait till you're halfway up the stairs before you tell Alexa to turn off the goddamn lights?
I didn't last time. No, I did it.
Or I fell asleep on the stairs. I'm like, I don't want to go any further, and I just lay down the stairs and I fell asleep. That was a fun night.
Yep.
But now Alex is cute because I make him go potty before we go to bed, right? And so the other night, he comes crawling out of the bathroom to his room, and I could tell what he was doing. And I go, "What are you doing?" "I'm Daddy."
Poor PJ.
And then Sophie, my 12-year-old, she's yelling at kids in Gorilla Tag, and she's like, "Dude, bro, you're awkward." And I'm walking by her, waddling by her. I'm like, "You're awkward." And she goes, "At least I can walk."
Yeah, I'm so proud. Yes, Queen, I'm so proud of her.
That's when you need to pull out the crowbar and say, "Really? Have you heard of Tanya Harding?" I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners have no idea what I just referenced.
If they don't, they gotta look it up.
What were we talking about?
Tapestry.
Oh, right. That's a civilization game, right?
Any
It's says so on the box.
It does.
Oh god.
Do we discuss the designers? Did you do
Well,
that?
it's Jamey Stegmaier. But the art
I can read it for you.
by Andrew Bosley. How about the sculpts?
Sculpts by Rom Brown.
Yeah. I don't know if you're here at the start of it, but I'm pretty certain that the whole game was made because he saw the sculpts and he's like, I need that in a game. And so Jamey designed Tapestry around the sculpts.
What bothers me, but I get now that I've played the game, is that there's like alien civilizations with like, you know, indigenous people on the cover. But when you play it makes sense because obviously I went to outer space.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's like little huts here.
Now, do you get the feeling like you're actually a civilization advancing?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
But also, this reminds me very heavily of Sid Meier's Civilization games, which are another thing that I absolutely love.
It's Pocahontas. Look, it's Pocahontas.
I'll poke your harness.
There she is. She's waving on that.
What's happening?
I wish you would.
That reaction was just the greatest.
Just gonna put that away now.
Oh, God.
So, final thoughts.
You didn't hear my response.
Favorite moments? Favorite moments?
When I beat you.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
gonna steal Angie's line.
Yeah,
At
when
least
I
somebody
played...
can say it.
Shanna didn't play tonight, but when we played...
No, because I was taking care of a child.
Yeah, when we played, she beat me 291 to 168? 160. It was 160.
I went to space. I'm not sure if you knew that. But I went to space.
No, I didn't hear that 5 dozen times
Yes.
already.
It's very exciting.
Actually, I got in the 160s again tonight.
Yeah, I think you were like 165.
Yeah, 165.
Just not doing it right.
Obviously. All my games I'm terrible at. I own all of them. I'm just the worst at all of them.
Because you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah, I am.
Also, I'm here to fuck you up.
Final thoughts.
I think this is a great game.
No, we need to finish the dark story.
We do.
We do.
I think if now this is a game that it feels slow. It seems a little slow until you start progressing.
Yeah.
And then it really
That's how a
kicks
lot
up.
of Stegmaier games are. Like
They
Scythe starts off slow.
They are.
I feel like I never
Wingspan.
progressed. I'm not progressing.
I don't know. For a while there, you were actually kicking both of our asses.
Yeah.
But I don't know how.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
either.
Me either.
I
It's a
don't know
mystery.
either. So she was planning to kill him by poisoning the food with some pills that she had in her bag.
Okay.
But that's all I can tell you. So
Oh,
I
that
just
was-
gave you part
So that was your hint.
of that solution.
So...
Did she accidentally take the wrong pills?
Oh, was it like sleeping pills and then she fell down the stairs or something?
Nope.
She's gonna poison him with pills in her purse, you said? In her bag?
Yep. For some pills that she had in her bag. That's all I'm telling you. You gotta fill in
She
the
was
rest.
planning on poisoning him?
Yes, she was planning.
But
Did he
instead
find them?
she used pills from a different
Nope.
place.
Nope.
But the second part says she committed suicide, right?
That's right. She's planning to kill her husband during dinner. However, she commits suicide while preparing it.
Okay. So she... And you said she deliberately commits suicide. It's
Yes.
Not, it wasn't an accident.
It's not an accident. She does this deliberately. What happens? I already gave you a big portion of it. She was going to do it with the pills in her bag. See, I'm so much nicer than you are with this shit.
I
All right,
am.
so she wanted to be like a murder suicide, so she makes dinner. She crunches up the pills in there, and then she takes on her own. She takes her own pills, so she dies before her husband dies. Therefore, she can't be caught for murder.
Or he's like, I'm not hungry, and he goes to bed. And...
Nope. Nope.
Is the husband still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
He calls and says
See,
he's not coming to dinner.
Nope.
I'm still convinced this is like a
Something crazy.
Princess Bride scenario where
Mostly dead.
you put the
The
poison
ice
one in
powder?
front of me.
Inconceivable. I don't know.
I
You
cave.
give up, Angie? I mean, she probably wasn't. You weren't even doing this in the beginning, were you?
I just listened to you complain.
Oh, okay. She was planning to kill him by poisoning the food with some pills she had in her bag.
Yeah, we heard that already.
When she went to grab them, she noticed that they were not there and that her son had swallowed them thinking they were sweets. She couldn't bear it, so she took her own life.
Instead of saving the
calling
kid.
911.
Exactly. She was like, well, shit, that kid's dead.
Man, that
Fuck it. I'm dead too.
Wow.
That's the one you chose to read tonight.
Yep.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh, it's okay. The one last week was what was that? A bunch of people. A murder happens. No one's surprised.
Okay. Was it like an execution?
Nope.
It's so much dumber than that.
I gave you so many hints, and
We even talked about it.
Was it a murder mystery game?
Yes.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
do you do that?
The game was.
Clue?
Yeah.
Yes. We even talked about the movie.
We quoted the movie and talked about it.
I would just be like,
Oh my god, that's what we talked about.
Oh, really?
We talked about how that's like our favorite joke.
It started because I kept like, oh, I gotta say it. Is it this?
No.
No. No? No.
I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife. All right. Well, that's all I got. Hey, and if you listen to the interview with Jamey Stegmaier, he gives you a super cool Jamey Stegmaier fact
He
live.
does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Live fact.
Yeah, so stay tuned after
now.
after this review for our Jamey Stegmaier interview.
It's only one recording.
Well,
right?
it wasn't an interview, but a discussion.
It was a hangout
It
set.
was a hangout set.
Yeah, it was a discussion.
We hang out with Jamey Stegmaier for fun. Well, PJ does. I just come along for the ride.
I'm occasionally there.
I've never been there.
I just try not to drool, that's all.
Yeah, I hopped onto his live stream this week, and I'm like, "Hey, happy Wednesday!" He's like, "Oh, hey, Paul's here." So, everyone, this will be our last episode of 2023. We're ending with an awesome conversation with Jamey Stegmaier, and we look forward to 2024, where we'll talk about some Christmas games that we got, and some are actual Christmas-themed games.
Yes.
And,
yes, and some card games that you're going to get.
Well, now you just spoiled it.
And hopefully a special guest.
I just hinted to PJ he's getting some Christmas presents he didn't know about. Happy last night of Hanukkah.
New Year.
Easter.
Kwanzaa.
I mean, eventually. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Merry whatever you
Stay
celebrate.
safe, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't break anything.
Don't take the line break a leg seriously. Don't do that.
Stay away from the side of Ollie's and
Stay away from grass. Grass is not good.
Don't forget to stay tuned for our chat about our top 3 games and that are fun. Not necessarily our favorite games, but top 3 games that are fun and what makes them fun.
All right, so guys, have a great one.
Yep.
We'll see you in the new year.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
So we're here with Jamey Stegmaier, and we are here mostly to talk about what makes games fun, and we have some games selected too that we want to talk about what exactly makes a game fun. And it came to me, I emailed you saying this too, it came to me where I was playing Tapestry, and I'm just infatuated with this game, like completely infatuated with it. But on paper, it sounds like it shouldn't work, because like, I'm doing the game a disservice here, but on paper, like, you're basically just spending a resource to move a cube up a block and then you get a building. And I'm like, why is this so great? And I was going to read your design diaries to look into it, but I just didn't have time. So I want to pick your brain about that first, and then we'll get into like our top 3s. Yeah. So what do you think is it about Tapestry? Like, when you were designing it, you know, how did you know this would be like something that people would enjoy to play and like it would be as good as it is?
That's a good question. And I would say in general, you're right. Like if you break most games down, you could say things like, oh, you're converting some things into other things or some things into points.
For sure. Worker placement games too, like very boring on paper.
Right. But in Tapestry, what is the thing that makes Tapestry special? I mean, there are a lot of little things, but what makes it fun is an interesting question. And how do we know when it became fun? I think part of it, and this will tie into some of the games that I'll mention today, there is like built into the tracks themselves is a sense of progression. Like the benefits that you're gaining get more and more powerful. And I think that is, for me at least, is generally fun in games when I feel more powerful at the end of the game based on things that I did earlier in the game.
Yeah.
I think that comes down to cleverness and just the sense of progression, I think feels good in games and in general.
Yeah, I think I remember when we interviewed you back in February, I was like researching the company and everything, and that was like one of the tenets of Stegmaier was like forward progression always in your games. And I agree, like that, the puzzle aspect of the game, like just trying to figure out how you want to, like what tracks would get you the best points and everything.
Right.
PJ made me play, and I creamed him. I had no idea what I was doing.
290 to 161.
I went to space.
Oh wow. Oh, nice.
PJ, we call that an epic fail.
Oh yeah.
I want to say that I just copied him for the first 2 moves, and then somehow I was doing much better. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's fun.
So
nice.
That was like me picking up your game of it's right in front of me too.
you read with your eyes.
Libertalia. there we go.
Libertalia.
I always forget the name of
Libertalia.
it. It's one of my favorite games. I picked up a game for you for Libertalia when we were at the event the other day. And I was like, wow, why do you screw yourself over so badly?
I am my own worst enemy in Libertalia.
Like, I had
really
to go
am.
back and be like, no, okay, I've got a card to bring someone else out of the graveyard. Let's just put this one back in.
Sorry, that was like comment. Dan and PJ, all of Games Overboard was actually at my school yesterday. My TSA students are actually building their own board games for a TSA event. So I wanted masters to tell them how to build a good board game, not just like Candyland.
Yeah. So I put your design blog in there, like how to design a board game, and
Yeah, we talked about you a lot.
well, I mean,
I did.
well, again, I've said this before. Like, you make games that we like.
Yeah.
Like we feel like we must share a lot of your taste, because we haven't had a bad game, or a game that, not a bad game, but a game that didn't fit with our group.
Right.
So
Right. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing those resources. I try to make them pretty accessible too. Like, there are deep dives into game design, but there's also
yeah,
a few videos and things that are just like for someone who knows nothing about it
Mhm.
to dabble in game design a little bit.
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, they loved your board games. They had so much fun looking at them. So shout out to you
Oh,
and
cool.
to my gifted students. Anywho,
Nice.
So do we want to just go?
we're starting with Jamey.
Yeah, that's what I
I don't
figured.
wanna
Like,
hear me.
start with Jamie and then go clockwise.
Listen, don't ruin this for me. Jamie's really good looking.
All right,
you all
so
are beautiful too.
Oh, you're just saying that.
That's the makeup.
Let's talk about yeah, as I asked you about this question, you came up with a great idea of 3 games that are fun every time they come to the table and what makes them fun.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, let's start with you. What is your number 3 game? Or your
Yeah,
first
so
game?
I ended up coming up with 3 categories of things that I generally find fun in games, and a strong example in each of those categories that I really, really enjoy. So I didn't actually necessarily come with a 3, 2, 1. I guess I
Okay,
can kind
yeah.
of do that. Yeah, I'll do it in 3, 2, 1.
Whatever you want to do.
And I picked a non-Stegmaier game, and then I will mention a quick Stegmaier game, even though I don't want to focus on that
Good
too
for
much. So the third category is camaraderie, because oftentimes when
Yeah.
I'm having fun at a game, it's because the other people at the table are also having fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That can really have a big impact on my experience. It's why I play games with other people. I want them to have a good time. And a lot of games that end up having that feeling of camaraderie and collective fun are cooperative games. One that I've enjoyed recently, really, really recent game that I brought home for Thanksgiving, is a game called Blob Party. So this is on the lighter end of cooperative games, but it's a lot of fun. This is in the spirit of like Just One and So Clover, that style of game.
Okay.
It's kind of like the opposite of Just One. So in Just One, you're trying to write down something that is different than what other people are writing down. In Blob Party, you're trying to write down the same word as other people. So you'll be given a pairing of clues, like on the back here, the example they have is that there's a clue that says food and a clue that says green. So green food, and everyone's trying to write down the same green food. And anyone who says the same thing, anyone who writes down the same thing, they have this little Play-Doh. Well, I don't have to show you. It's literally Play-Doh. And everyone has a little blob. That's your blob. And you actually merge together with the other people who wrote down the same thing as you.
That's
And then for the rest of
cool.
the game, those who share the same blob write down, they present one answer to the group instead of multiple answers. Eventually you're trying to become one collective blob with everyone. And it's just it leads to a lot of funny moments when like people write down stuff, like when you think that you've written down the most intuitive answer, but no one else agrees with you and you have to try again. I've just had a blast introducing it to people. It seems to work with anyone who can read the clues, and even people who can't read, you can just say it out loud to them, and as long as they can write down an answer.
That sounds like
So yeah, I've had a blast with the camaraderie element of Blob Party. The quick Stegmaier example that I mentioned are the between two games that we have, between two cities, between two castles. I think they lead to a nice spirit of camaraderie, even though they aren't fully cooperative.
Yeah. Yeah, we have Between Two
Can you all
Castles. We
resonate
haven't played it yet, but yeah, camaraderie is such a huge thing in our games.
Actually, I'll just jump out of order then. My camaraderie one I wrote down was Dungeon Fighter.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I like dex-based games because I get really into it. Like, I'll climb on the table to get the best. Like,
She will.
I really get into it. But Dungeon Fighter, because it's a lot of, working together and choosing who gets the what die, what's going to help the most. And so,
Yeah.
I agree. I like games where I am working with friends and it's more cooperative. Somehow I beat PJ in games and I'm not even trying. Like, I really, I prefer to hang out and talk to my friends and enjoy it. So,
Yep.
And in Dungeon Fighter, in games like that too, including Block Party, these cooperative games, I think it's still fun when you fail, because if you're failing together,
Yeah.
then it's amusing for the group, opposed to a competitive game where if there's something like that and you fail, it can sometimes feel bad, not always, but it can feel bad. It can take away the fun, especially if I see someone else fail miserably in a competitive game. That affects me too. Like, I don't want anyone to fail miserably. I don't mind if I'm like slightly more clever in a game than someone else, but I don't want them to walk away feeling terrible.
Yeah. That happened to our friend in one of our reviews. Like, it was a card-based game, battle game, and he just was not drawing the cards he needed. So he failed by a landslide. Like, and he had the worst time playing that game.
Yeah, he does not like that game.
No.
Which sucks because I do like it.
Yeah.
I really do.
We're talking about the Godzilla game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little press. I don't remember which company made it. I think it was Funko, but anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun little game. But
what's your next game, Jamie?
wait.
Oh, you do? I was hoping.
Oh, they're going this
you wanna
way.
let's do all our threes.
I thought John was
okay.
I thought he was. I just want to hear Jamie talk.
All right, so we'll just go. Do we want to go just counterclockwise then?
All right, discuss Dungeon Fighter. So it's your turn.
Okay. So my first one, I was gonna do Arkham Horror the LCG, but I'm gonna scrap that because I also want to talk about a cooperative game, and it's fun because it refuses to let you think about anything else, and it's Spirit Island.
Oh, jeez.
The game, I don't know if you've played it, but it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard that like it just grabs you by the throat and it doesn't let go. And like you're forced to just like focus on the game and pay attention to it the whole time, and it's just so captivating because of it. You literally can't think of anything else.
It's a fun game, but it should have the subtitle Anxiety, the board game.
I can't stand Pandemic, Spirit. I just can't stand those games.
Like Pandemic is like a lighter version of Spirit Island, because Pandemic can be like, oh, I can do this. We can work together and do this. And Spirit Island's like, we can work together. Okay, we just lost.
No,
that.
You can't.
We lost. What happened? The white man showed up and we lost.
And in Spirit Island, your abilities are so elaborate. It's like a Pandemic where you have like one little basic ability.
Yeah.
Right. Spirit Island, a huge part of the game is understanding your ability. And I agree. I love that idea of games that are like the complexity of games keeping your focus on the game itself instead of everything else that's going on in the world and in your life.
Yeah.
For that 2-hour period that you play it. I love that.
Yeah. So mine is actually one that we discovered fairly recently, and that's Dinosaur Island.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's very European, just in the whole blocks and
moving blocks
like
of tracks.
moving the blocks and the tracks, and it's just so much fun. For me, it's multi-leveled. It brings back 90s nostalgia for me, especially with just the fact that you look at the art and you're like, is it 1993 again?
Is this legal? Is this copyright infringement?
But even though it is a competitive, that's the word I was looking for, competitive. Even though it's a competitive game, you still get that camaraderie, and especially PJ and I love picking on each other.
Oh yeah,
with that kind of stuff. Like, why did you do that? Why did you just do that? I'm gonna take that from you now. I bought that before you did because you didn't pay attention.
Yeah,
that's just the way we are. And when we were at your class the other day, we were like, "This must be a boy thing."
Mm-hmm.
Because those gifted kids were
I have
the
one group of
same
gifted
way.
boys. It is. I told Dan it's just like watching PJ, Dan, our friends Jim and Josh all through high school. I have that same group in gifted, and it's just so much fun. I'm like, listen to them for 2 seconds. You'll hear your voices.
we did hear something that was very reminiscent of our childhood. She was, are you stupid or something? Like,
Are you an idiot?
no, yeah, that's what, are you an idiot? Like, that sounds awfully familiar.
I know exactly who said it. Like I just know these are gifted kids, and I know who said it.
But that game, like it looks like a complicated game, and on paper it is, until you get the hang of it, which will only take you maybe 2 turns to be to get in the swing of it. Right. And then it's a really quick, intuitive game. All you have to do is just pick up, put down, just lots of pieces.
Intuitive is a good word for it. Yeah.
And I think I think we have a lot of those. A lot of games that you're like, oh, that's daunting. Oh, this is easy. But there are a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. What's your next one, Jamey?
Well, just to tag onto that, the nostalgia. I love that you mentioned nostalgia, because I think nostalgia is really powerful. You know, we've seen that in books and movies and all sorts of things, TV show reboots and things like that. And so it brings out things in us that we didn't expect, and I totally agree with that element of Dinosaur Island. Yeah. My number 2 has to do with the category of I put it as like risk and luck, and push your luck.
Oh,
okay.
You know, elements of chance in games, not where the game is taken over by that, but where there's some element of chance in the game that that you can mitigate to a certain amount. And the game that I've chosen for this is the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Have you all played that one?
Not yet. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah,
we had a friend who was going to bring it onto the podcast and show us all, and that all just fell apart. And so eventually I'm just going to pick up a copy.
Yeah, might as well.
It's one of my favorite games. It has the progression that I mentioned earlier in our discussion, but it also just has this bag pulling element where you're pulling tokens out of a bag in the hopes of not busting. And the more tokens that you pull out, the more points that you're getting, the more resources you're getting. And the wonderful thing about the game is, even if you do bust, you still get to choose between gaining points or resources for that round of the game. If you don't bust, you get both. You get the points and the resources, which feels really, really good when you do that. So I think the game does a great job of balancing those really good feelings when you do push your luck and you get the points and the resources. But when you push a little bit too far and you fail, it still doesn't devastate you. Because I think there are plenty of games with luck and even push your luck elements where it can be a little devastating and can ruin the fun of the game.
Right.
Quacks has walks that line really, really well. Yeah. Can you think of any other games that do that, where there's a luck element, there's a chance element, but your game isn't ruined. Your day isn't ruined if you have really, really bad luck in that game.
Well, we can rule out Godzilla.
Shanna's number 1 is going to be that for sure.
Okay, nice.
So
my number 1 is Betrayal.
It doesn't matter what you roll in that game. Like, it's just such a fun game. It's so great.
I'm not going to lie. Like, if we were to talk about those kinds of games, Betrayal is like my number 1. I will always go back to it. But I didn't write it down as I'll press your luck. It's because it's
definitely
just,
not press your luck.
For me, I like it because it's just lots of fun. And we have a good group of friends that we don't mind role playing. So we got one, Peach always tells the story, especially to my students, about how we got the Frankenstein monster story. And I was the haunt, and I was building a new Frankenstein. And so part of my job was to like kill them and then create a Frankenstein monster. So I took their bodies back to the lab. And so like, if you're really like into it, you'll like drag the body along it's lots of fun. So if you have the right group of friends, you can really like, role play. Cause I like D&D and like role playing games.
For sure.
But there is luck though. They're rolling and then, oh look, Chucky killed me. The side of that is just the dichotomy.
I really like that, where the idea of luck in games, like I talk about it in terms of failing it, you're talking about it in terms of the story and how bad luck can sometimes lead to a great, memorable story, and that could be just as fun as if you succeeded, and probably in those types of games, maybe more fun than if you had succeeded. Yeah,
100%. Like people knock on that game a lot because it's broke. It's severely broken, and like there are times where if the house is laid out a certain way, there's no way that the haunt can win or the survivors can win. Like it's just impossible. But it doesn't matter because you just restart and play it again, and you'll have a great time.
Just call house rules and you fix it.
Right.
Oh, what happened? Oh, no, construction crew came in while you guys were here. Fix that hole. We're good.
So, my number 2 is it's a storytelling game, but it's one where it holds you and it's fun because it's just action from the very first turn. Also by Rob Davio, is Cthulhu Death May Die. And
I love this game.
Yeah.
that game, like the very first time you roll the dice, you kill a monster if you want,
Mhm.
you know, and
Right.
and then it just does not stop the whole time, and it's just so much fun to just roll dice and fight one of the elder gods and win and go insane while you're doing it, and it's just such a great time.
So that's the thing I really like about that game, and we did talk about it on the podcast, is where a lot of these games that deal with the Lovecraft mythos, the whole goal is you don't want to summon the old ones. You don't want to, be a part of this. You just want to report and get out. Kind of like Mountains of Madness was the same thing.
Yeah.
You want to find what you're here for and get out before you go insane. And this one is more like, no. Maybe I can go a little bit insane because the more insane I get, the more powerful I become.
Yeah.
And it's you really are walking a
Let
very,
them come.
a very tightrope. Yeah, and the whole purpose is not like, oh, we have to stop this. Is bring them here. I'm going to take them out. Let them come.
Right.
For me,
I like that.
my second one would have to be Dune Imperium.
I love Dune Imperium.
It's a great it's a great combination game. It's a worker placement game. It is a deck builder, and the fact that you can bring in, if you don't have all of the people you need, you can bring in that app that will work against. I mean, and it does.
Yeah,
it
to
really
play as a
works
third
against
player.
you, and it'll do anything, to make sure you don't get that perfect setup that you need.
Mhm.
So it's really good to start making you think of different strategies. Not only are you working against somebody who can think that's going to oppose you no matter what, but you also have, this artificial intelligence that's the whole goal. It doesn't think, it just goes, I do this. Oh, that screwed you up? Oh, well, I'll do it again.
Right.
Yeah, and just the whole, I love deck building. I love being able to maximize your deck for the best possible combination.
The best play that you can get.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a good string. You got a lot of good strings on me.
Yeah, you haven't beaten me yet.
Oh no, I beat you.
You did?
I think we're
Once?
tied
Twice?
now.
All right,
okay.
moving on.
But anyway, I've never gotten some of those strings like you've gotten. Like I've never been able to build my deck quite like that.
Yeah, I always look for cards that let me draw new cards and things like that. And I said that in the video we filmed last week, where the Rick and Morty deck builder, I can get 15 cards on the table by the end of my turn.
Oh, wow.
Because I'll be like, oh, I have this card that lets me draw 2, and then this one lets me pull this one on my discard pile, and I get to draw 2 more cards. And
He's not allowed to play as a Jerry.
yeah. He's kind of OP in the expansion.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that's Dan's second game there. Right?
One thing about
Yeah,
Dune
that's
Imperium too that I think makes it really fun for me is that you only really need 10 victory points to win the game.
Yeah.
And so even fairly early on in the game, if you earn a victory point, it feels like a huge deal.
Yeah.
I don't mind these games like Tapestry. You mentioned Tapestry, you're going to end up with 200, 300 points. That's fun too.
Yeah.
But Dune Imperium,
some
every
of
point
us.
seems earned. For some of you get that many points, yeah. But I really like that element of Dune Imperium that you can see paths to gaining victory points, and when you gain them, it feels like that's 10% of what you need to win right there on 1 point.
Yeah. That's something that we mentioned in our viticulture review, is when that first wine order gets placed, then you start sweating nervously, oh no, it's like someone else beat me to it. And so and it's on, the race is on after that. And yeah, it's the same kind of feeling for sure.
I won that, by the way, by the skin of my teeth.
Oh, nice.
1 point. Yeah.
By 1 point, it was good. But I told him, he had stiff competition. I am a farmer, so I know what I'm doing.
PJ's a townie.
Yeah, I am through and through.
What's your number 3?
Or I guess
War one or
number
whatever.
one.
Your last one.
Yeah, my third
can't
pick,
math in English,
probably
teacher.
my number 1 game on this list is Ark Nova. You all played Ark Nova?
I want to play it so bad.
I have
really want to play that game.
Yeah. This is, again, a fairly new game, but I've gotten maybe a dozen plays of it at this point. It's a game where you're building a zoo. And this category for fun is the category of creation. When you're creating something, and win or lose as you're playing and at the end of the game, you can look down at the table and see something amazing that you created. In Ark Nova, that's a zoo. In Tapestry, it's your civilization. Viticulture is your vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
In Apiary, our newest game, it's a hive ship for space bees. You can see this theme in a lot of Stegmaier games because it's something that I love in games. That I can have fun in a game, no matter how well I did, if I can look down and see something amazing that I created over the course of the game. I think Ark Nova does that really well. And Ark Nova, it feels really earned because a lot of the cards have requirements. Like if I want to play a card, I don't just need the resources to play that card, but I also need to have X, Y, and Z to be eligible to play that card. So everything feels earned, everything feels good, and like an accomplishment when you pull it off. Yeah, so creation as fun as my third category and my number one pick.
That's a biggie in our group too. Like Barren Park,
my number three is the exact opposite of his.
Oh my gosh, it really is.
Like, creation. Mine's devastation. My third is survive.
It is literally the opposite. Yeah.
And the only reason I chose it is because, like, when these two play, they destroy each other, and so Angie and I win by default because they forget that we exist.
It's just, I mean, we've been doing this kind of stuff for 24 years. It's ingrained. We have to go after each other.
Yeah. And fun fact, my boys that are in Gifted, they played that game today again in my classroom.
Did they?
They didn't even work on their project. Can we just play this one more time? Because they're getting ideas for their board game, and they're killing each other. I'm like, guys, you gotta focus on GFA. But
I love that game.
That one is a lot of fun.
So my number one pick, I wasn't sure what I was going to pick for this one. I have like a million of them written down, but when you mentioned the victory points in Dune Imperium and reminded me of viticulture and everything, I have to go with Scythe because
good choice.
Again, that sense of progression. Like,
did you stop like schmoozing him? My God.
No. So, but again, that sense of progression, and again, that you get that feeling almost of dread when the first mech hits the map, and you're like, oh no, like they can cross the rivers now, and so just there's some, and the world building of that too with Jakob's art is just so phenomenal. Good. So, and then all the upgraded resource tokens too, just enhancing like the tactility of it all.
So I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's such.
It is.
I don't want to play. I just want to stare at it. Yeah. I just want to look at it all.
Well, like with Scythe too. Like whenever I want to play that game, immediately I think of like the tactile nature of it. I'm like, just putting the little metal ingots down for iron and stuff like that, and the sounds it generates. Like it's such an experience for me that I think that's really what gets me in that game.
He's such a nerd that he's like, listen to this. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Doesn't that sound great? I'm like, it sounds like money I don't actually have.
Yeah, when you plop that mech down and it just goes dunk, it's so good.
On Scythe, I designed around the concept of double rewards. So on most turns, you're gaining at least two things. Like if you do an upgrade, not only are you making a cost lower, but you're also making a benefit higher. Mm-hmm. Right. And you have, even the player mat is structured around doing two good things on your turn, like doing the top benefit and the bottom benefit.
Yeah.
It's a little subtle thing that I try to build in there to make every turn feel really good, even when you're not doing complex things.
Yeah. Something we noticed too is because we played Viticulture, your first game was we just played that like a week, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, and we can feel how a lot of the inspiration that Scythe got from it, and like especially with the player mat of putting things on the mat and they give you upgrades, and certain abilities and stuff, and a lot of the bone work that created Scythe was definitely in that game, and we loved it.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Kicking.
So, anyways, your next game.
So my number one game is vastly different from all of yours. This one is strictly a party game, and for me, it has to be Snake Oil. Snake Oil. I really wish I would have known about Snake Oil.
Sorry, keep talking, Dan. I don't. Whatever.
I really wish I would have known about Snake Oil when I was teaching improv and doing improv in Los Angeles, because that's all that game is hey, take two completely random things, put them together, and now go. Just improv your best or worst.
It's not for everyone.
Product. No, it is
it's
not
hilarious.
for everyone.
But it's so good.
We end up like falling to tears from laughing so hard.
I love creating the most ridiculous things, and it's you
can get dark.
It can get really dark. It can get really dark, and it can also go completely 180 from when you thought. Like when we did it at Helix Tabletop Gaming. Everybody thought that
he has to wine taste.
The one was gonna go extremely dark, and he just flipped it around on us, and we were like, oh,
yeah.
Well, that wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was. The rooster,
the tinsel rooster.
It was.
Right? He didn't use rooster though.
He
didn't use the word.
No. And I was like, whoa, like because it was in Grandma's house.
Jamey Stegmaier. I have a thing. Whenever we do Stegmaier games, I always go, "Hey Dan, do you want to know a super cool fact about my best friend Jamey Stegmaier?"
Usually I say no.
But I would like you to give us a live fun fact about you, just for Dan. And a little bit for me, because I think you are attractive. But anyway.
A live fun fact. Well, I do want to say one thing about Dan's pick real quick, because I think fun is different for everyone. Like some of the things that I mentioned on my list might not be fun for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if everyone can find a game that makes them laugh, I think laughter is like a universally, like it's part of the definition of fun. Yeah. So I love that you made that pick. And I think that may not be the game for everyone that makes everyone laugh. Probably a lot of people.
I think we'll all
but
laugh.
I know that I have But if I love that those types of games are out there where you can just laugh and have fun. For me, it's probably Telestrations is near the top of that list.
Oh, see, I haven't played that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Telestrations, yeah. That one's delightful.
But that one is by far one of my favorite games.
It's such a good game.
It's so much fun. Yeah. The two of us, we did it for the class yesterday. Those kids had no idea what they had no idea what they were getting into.
But they loved it.
But they loved it. We made them laugh, and it was just, what was it? The kids were supposed to be a lifeguard. We were trying to sell them on something. What did you have?
Hero gasoline.
Hero gas.
Yeah, keep kids swimming in the flags. You just make some fire lines, and they stay in the lanes.
And mine was a blood parrot. So that's great. You got a little parrot. It senses blood. It tells you where it is. Bam, saved. And of course, we went back and forth on that one a lot of why, no, yours is bad because you're trying to kill people. You're burning. No, they're staying in their lane. But
have you played Fun
I just want to hear the
Employed?
fun fact.
Not yet.
Fun
I
Employed?
ran back for the fun fact.
I haven't even heard of Fun Employed.
Yeah. It's on my wish list,
if you
I
like
think,
Snake Oil, it's very similar to Snake Oil, in that there's a couple different ways you can play, but the main you're pitching yourself for a job to the other players,
like the elevator pitch,
and you're kind of drawing. I think you're given a job card that you're applying for, and then you reveal the most fun way to play. I think is to reveal a card from the top of the deck that says in like an attribute of who you are. Like it might say that you have an English accent, and you don't have to act it out necessarily, but you have to describe why having an English accent makes you better at the job. And you have to do that 4 times. So you're randomly revealing 4 cards off the top of the deck. And sometimes they might even be contradictory. Like it might say English accent, and the next card might say Spanish accent. And so you also have a Spanish accent somehow. And so I would say it's very similar to the feeling of Snake Oil.
I like this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to,
and there's
what was it called? I got to write down.
Fun Employed. It's on my Amazon wish list.
Fun Employed.
Okay, I like this. We're gonna have to
look at
play
your
this.
Amazon.
I think you'll really enjoy that, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And my fun fact is tied to these style of games, which is that I don't want to say terrified, but I really don't like public speaking. I don't like the spotlight on me when I am, especially in a big group of people that I don't know, but even in a small group of people. So these types of games, Snake Oil and Fun Employed, as much fun as I've had with them, they also make me really nervous because it's me like presenting something and trying to be funny or whatever to other people makes me really, really nervous. So it's something I've been trying to work on camera. I'm much more comfortable, but yeah, and I'm sure it sounds like you all are don't have that element, and I'm glad you don't. But
I do.
Something about me, yeah.
I actually
you do. Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like public speaking at all.
Even in your classes?
I'm great as a teacher. Yeah. So here's the thing. It's ironic. If I know that you are like below me, and I mean like as a student,
Yeah.
it's totally fine. Even
Yeah.
if you're like 50 and you're a student, I don't care because the word students in my brain's fine. But the second that I know that you are my peer, you're a teacher, or God forbid a principal or beyond that, I am the quietest person you'll ever meet. Like I don't talk because I just get nervous.
Yeah.
The podcast helped
That's
me
really interesting.
with this actually, with like being more outgoing and everything and talking with people.
Podcasts help me talk slower. That's all.
I have noticed.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yes.
Reaching out to people, especially the first time like we started to get fan mail and stuff, and we're like, okay, like, you know, people get us. You know, like it's okay to just kind of
To be weird.
You know, yeah, just be weird, and you know, people will get it, and yeah. So
Thank God, because I'm nothing but.
Thank you for giving me your fun fact.
That's my fun fact. Yeah.
Dan appreciated it.
I do appreciate that. So,
whenever we do a Stegmaier game, Shanna will hop on your blog and find a random thing.
I don't even
from
have
you.
to hop on your blog anymore. I know so much about you. I hope that's not creepy.
just a little bit.
It's public information. Yeah.
And now if I'm not on, Angie does it for me too. So I got Angie in on it.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
That's all right. I was going to say, so I've been doing stage work for decades at this point. So this all is just secondary nature to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have
Dan likes talking in front of
I
people.
have no problem making myself look like an absolute idiot because I am.
It comes so naturally.
It does. But
This was fun.
Well, that's awesome.
It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
yeah.
So you looking forward to your wine, your whiskey tasting?
Yeah. I'm not much of a whiskey drinker, and so I'm
Yeah, me
but
neither,
I'm there with
actually.
some, like, I'm with a friend who loves whiskey and knows a lot about it. So he's going to be describing all the important elements of it that I know nothing about. So I think that'll be fun. And I'm bringing bourbon ice cream, which I'll be looking forward to ending the night with that because I know that I like the bourbon ice cream.
Yingling
Nice.
does Yingling ice cream. Actually,
Very
they do a
nice.
beer ice cream.
Yeah.
Really?
I did a beer
Oh.
tasting.
Yeah,
with
we're only
my-
like an hour away from the Yingling Brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
my mother, my monster, my stepmom, and PJ wanted to go do a beer tasting. I was like, yeah, we'll do an adult day. I'll come with you. But I don't like beer. I had a blast. I fell asleep in the car. I have no memory.
That's usually the best time. We're like,
We bought,
yeah.
we bought Chinese, apparently. So,
Wow, it
I
sounds
hope
like
you
we
enjoy.
all have really
Thank
fun,
you.
busy days. I have to go to a ballet in like an hour.
my son who's
no.
telling me,
Wow.
Mom, it's 5:10 now. So
Oh my
he's like-
gosh.
he's like, Mom,
Okay.
Mom. Oh boy.
Well, Jamey, it was a pleasure, absolute pleasure to have you on.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So-
good to see you all.
Yeah,
Good
you
to
too.
see you too.
It was lovely to see you too.
Have fun with the hoagies and the ballet. Hopefully some gaming this weekend. And
for
yeah,
sure.
let me know when you post this. I think it's a great topic. I'm very curious to see what other people say, what they find fun in games.
Yeah, again, thank you so much and have a great weekend. We appreciate it.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you
I'll
so
see you all.
much.
See you, Jamie.
See ya. Bye.